സദാശിവസമാരംഭാം ശങ്കരാചാര്യമധ്യമാം അസ്മദാചാര്യപര്യന്താം വന്ദേ ഗുരുപരമ്പരാം. സംസ്കൃത ഭാരതം സമർത്ഥ ഭാരതം ഇത്യസ്മിൻ വിഷയെ തിരുവനന്തപുരം സർവകാര സംസ്കൃത മഹാവിദ്യാലയസ്യ സാഹിത്യ വിഭാഗേന സമായോജ്യമാനായാം ത്രിദിവസീയ രാഷ്ട്രീയ സംഗോഷ്ഠ്യാം അദ്യ തൃതീയം ദിനം വർത്തത്തെ. അദ്യ ശ്രാവണ പൗർണമി. സംസ്കൃത ദിനം ഇതി വയം സർവേ ജാനീമഃ. ഏകോനസപ്തത്യുത്തര നവദശ സഹസ്രതമേ വർഷേ ശ്രീമതി ഇന്ദിരാഗാന്ധി മഹാഭാഗ യഥാ പ്രധാനമന്ത്രി ആസീത് തദാനീം സമുദ്ഘോഷിതം പ്രതിവർഷം ശ്രാവണ പൗർണമി സംസ്കൃത ദിനം ഭവതു ഇതി. ദ്വിസഹസ്രതമേ വർഷേ മഹാമാന്യേന മുരളീ മനോഹർ ജോഷി മഹാഭാഗേന തദ്വർഷമേവ ദ്വിസഹസ്രതമം വർഷം സംസ്കൃത വർഷമിതി ആചരിതം. സംസ്കൃത ദിനസ്യ അംഗതയാ ഏകസപ്താഹം യാവത് സംസ്കൃത സപ്താഹ ആചരണം സംസ്കൃത വാരാഘോഷഃ ഇത്യപി ഘോഷിതമാസീത്. സംസ്കൃത വാര ആചരണസ്യ അംഗതയാ സംസ്കൃത ദിനെ സമാപ്തിം ഉപഗച്ഛതി ഇതി താദൃശരീത്യാ ഏവ ഇയം സംഗോഷ്ഠി അപി സമായോജിത. അദ്യ സംസ്കൃത ഭാരതം സമർത്ഥ ഭാരതം ഇതി ത്രിദിവസീയ രാഷ്ട്രീയ സംഗോഷ്ഠി സമാപ്തി ഉപഗച്ഛതി. കേരളസ്യ ഭിന്നഭാഗേഭ്യः ഭാരതസ്യ ഭിന്നരാജ്യേഭ്യः ബഹവः അത്ര ശതാധികാः അത്ര സമാവിഷ്ടാः. നമ്മള് ഇന്ന് ഈ ഒരു സംസ്കൃത ദിനാചരണത്തില് വളരെ വിശിഷ്ടരായിട്ടുള്ള രണ്ടു പേര്, പ്രൊഫസർ വി മധുസൂദനൻ നായർ മഹാഭാഗഃ തഥാ ടി.പി. ശശികുമാർ മഹാശയഃ. द्वौ अपि अद्य अस्मिन् शुभदिने. एकः तु अस्माकं सांस्कृतिक परंपरा विषये वि मधुसूदनन नायर महाशयः, अस्माकं साहित्य परंपरा विषये तत्रापि दक्षिण भारतस्य साहित्य परंपरा विषये द्राविड साहित्य परंपरा विषये वि मधुसूदनन नायर महाभागः भाषणं करिष्यति. अस्माकं शास्त्र सांकेतिक पारंपर्य विषये साइंटिफिक एंड टेक्नोलॉजिकल ट्रेडिशन ऑफ एंशियंट इंडिया इति विषये डॉक्टर टी.पी. शशिकुमार महाभागः अपि स्वविषयं मण्डयति. ലോകമെങ്ങും സംസ്കൃത ദിനം ആചരിക്കുന്ന ഇന്ന് നമ്മുടെ സാഹിത്യ പാരമ്പര്യത്തിന്റെ വിഷയത്തിലും ദാക്ഷിണാത്യ സാഹിത്യ പാരമ്പര്യ വിഷയത്തിലും ദ്രാവിഡ പാരമ്പര്യ വിഷയത്തിലുമൊക്കെ നമ്മളോട് ഇന്ന് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് നമുക്ക് ഏവർക്കും സുപരിചിതനായ അഗസ്ത്യ ഹൃദയത്തിലൂടെയും ഒക്കെ നമുക്ക് ആ ശബ്ദം തന്നെ നമുക്ക് സുപരിചിതമാണ്. പ്രൊഫസർ വി മധുസൂദനൻ നായർ, അദ്ദേഹത്തിനൊരു ആമുഖത്തിന്റെ ആവശ്യമില്ല. ഒട്ടനവധി കവിതകള്, ഗ്രന്ഥങ്ങള്, ഒട്ടനവധി പുരസ്കാരങ്ങള്, ഒട്ടനവധി ചുമതലകള്, സംസ്കൃത അഭിമാനി, സംസ്കൃതജ്ഞനാണ്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ കറകളഞ്ഞ ദേശഭക്തനാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഈ ഒരു സൗകര്യവും, സൂമിന്റെ സൗകര്യവും ഒന്നും അദ്ദേഹം ഉപയോഗിക്കാറില്ലെങ്കിലും സ്നേഹത്തോടെയുള്ള നിർബന്ധത്തിന് വഴങ്ങി അതിനുള്ള എല്ലാ ഏർപ്പാടുകളും ഇന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം തന്നെ ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം എത്തിച്ചേർന്നിരിക്കുകയാണ്. എത്ര നന്ദി പറഞ്ഞാലും അധികാവില്ല. സ്വാഗതം ഔപചാരികമായിട്ട് രണ്ടുപേർക്കും എല്ലാവർക്കും സർവേഭ്യഃ സ്വാഗതം വ്യാഹരതി अस्मच्छात्रा संगीता या संस्कृत महाविद्यालय साहित्य विभागे MA छात्रा अस्ति सा इदानीं स्वागतं व्याहरति. स्वागत भाषणाय संगीताम् आमन्त्रये.
नमस्ते.
आरभ्यताम्.
संस्कृत भारतम समर्थ भारतम इत्यस्मिन् विषये प्रचाल्यमानायां त्रिदिवसीय राष्ट्रीय संगोष्ठ्याम् अद्य तृतीय दिने प्रथमतया भारतस्य शास्त्र सांकेतिक पारंपर्य विषये श्रियं प्रबन्धम् उपस्थापयति. नितरां प्रसिद्धः शास्त्रज्ञः एवमेव आध्यात्मिक प्रभाषकः प्रसिद्ध व्यक्तित्व विकसन शिबिर संचालकः डॉक्टर TP शशिकुमार महाशयः, यः हैदराबाद नगरे विभिन्न कार्यनिर्वहणे व्यापृतः अस्ति. लोके सर्वत्र एतादृश वेदसम्बन्ध, शास्त्रसम्बन्ध, विज्ञानसम्बन्ध विषये वर्गान् चालयति. तस्मै TP शशिकुमार महाभागाय साहित्य विभागस्य नाम्ना संस्कृत महाविद्यालयस्य नाम्ना भवतां सर्वेषां नाम्ना च स्वागतं व्याहरामि. प्रसिद्ध मलयाळ कविः प्रोफेसर वि मधुसूदनन नायर महाभागः, यः अगस्त्य हृदयम् इत्यादि प्रसिद्ध कविताभिः अस्माकं केरलीयानां हृदये बहुवर्षेभ्यः प्रविष्टः अस्ति. तस्य कविवरस्य अपि अस्मिन् सत्रे स्वागतं व्याहरामि.
धन्यवादः. प्रथमं तावत् कवि मधुसूदनन नायर महाभागः एव स्वप्रबन्धम् उपस्थापयति. स्वप्रबन्ध उपस्थापनाय समादरणीय कविवरं पंडितोत्तमं संस्कृताभिमानिनं वि मधुसूदनन नायर महाभागम् आमन्त्रये.
നമസ്തേ. എല്ലാ അഭിജ്ഞർക്കും എൻ്റെ വിനീതമായ നമസ്കാരം. സംസ്കൃത ദിനം ആചരിക്കുന്ന ഈ സമയത്ത് എന്നെയും കൂടെ അതിൽ ഒരു ചെറിയ പങ്കാളിയാക്കിയതിന് ആദ്യം നിങ്ങളോടെല്ലാമുള്ള എൻ്റെ കടപ്പാട് ഞാൻ പ്രകാശിപ്പിക്കുന്നു.
ലോകത്തിന്റെ പല ഭാഗങ്ങളിൽ നിന്നും നമ്മൾ ശ്രമിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഒരു തരത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞാൽ പ്രതികൂലമായ സാഹചര്യത്തെ നമ്മൾ അനുകൂലമാക്കുകയാണ്. ഒരു സൗകര്യമാണ് യഥാർത്ഥത്തില്. നമ്മളൊരു സെമിനാർ നടത്തി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എല്ലാവരും എത്തിച്ചേരും. എന്നാൽ ഒരു 10-50 പേരൊക്കെ എത്തിച്ചേരും. ഇവിടെ 150-180-ലധികം പേര്, ഏകദേശം 200ഓളം പേരിപ്പോ ഇത് കേട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ലോകത്തിന്റെ പല ഭാഗങ്ങളിൽ നിന്ന് സൂമിലൂടെയും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ യൂട്യൂബ് ലൈവായിട്ടും കേട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. നമ്മുടെ പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ അമല ടീച്ചർ ഇന്നലെ ഇനിയൊന്നും ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയിട്ടില്ല, ഇന്ന് നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ ഉണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ കോളേജിലെ വേദാന്ത വിഭാഗത്തിലെ അധ്യക്ഷനായിട്ടുള്ള ഡോക്ടർ ശ്രീനിവാസനും വ്യാകരണത്തില് വിനോദ് കുമാറും തിരുവനന്തപുരത്തേക്കുള്ള കാർ യാത്രയിൽ സെമിനാറിൽ പങ്കെടുത്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇങ്ങനെ പലരും പല കാര്യപരിപാടികൾക്കിടയിലാണെങ്കിലും നമ്മളുടെ കൂടെയുണ്ട്. സയന്റിഫിക് ആൻഡ് ടെക്നോളജിക്കൽ ട്രഡീഷൻ ഓഫ് ആൻഷ്യൻ ഇന്ത്യ, നമ്മുടെ ഭാരതത്തിന്റെ ശാസ്ത്ര സാങ്കേതിക വിജ്ഞാന പാരമ്പര്യം, അതാണ് ഡോക്ടർ ടി.പി. ശശികുമാർ. അദ്ദേഹം ആ വിഷയത്തിലാണ് നമ്മളോട് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് ഇനിയുള്ള 1 മണിക്കൂർ സമയം. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഡോക്ടർ വി കെ അമല പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ നമ്മളോട് 2 വാക്ക് സംസാരിക്കും. പിന്നെ കൃതജ്ഞത. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് വളരെ പ്രസിദ്ധനായ എന്നാൽ മലയാളി കൂടിയായിട്ടുള്ള ഡോക്ടർ ടി.പി. ശശികുമാർ, അദ്ദേഹം ഹൈദരാബാദിലാണെങ്കിലും കേരളീയനാണ്. ലോകം മുഴുവൻ പല പല ഭാഗങ്ങളില് വ്യക്തിത്വ വികസന ക്ലാസ്സുകള്, മോട്ടിവേറ്റിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ക്ലാസ്സുകൾ, പ്രേരണാത്മക ക്ലാസ്സുകൾ, കൗൺസിലിംഗ് ക്ലാസ്സുകൾ ഒക്കെ നടത്തുന്നുണ്ട്. വിശ്വവിശ്രുതങ്ങളായിട്ട് ഒരുപാട് കമ്പനികൾക്ക് അവിടെയുള്ളവർക്കൊക്കെ ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട് അദ്ദേഹം ഇന്ന് നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ ചേരുകയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തെ വളരെ സന്തോഷത്തോടു കൂടിയിട്ട് വിഷയം അവതരിപ്പിക്കുവാനായി ക്ഷണിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു ഡോക്ടർ ടി.പി. ശശികുമാർ.
ഗുരുർബ്രഹ്മാ ഗുരുർവിഷ്ണു ഗുരുർദേവോ മഹേശ്വര ഗുരു സാക്ഷാത് പരം ബ്രഹ്മ തസ്മൈ ശ്രീ ഗുരവേ നമഃ. അജ്ഞാനതിമിരന്തസ്യ അനഞ്ജനശലാകയ ചക്ഷൂരുന്മീലിതം യേന തസ്മൈ ശ്രീ ഗുരവേ നമഃ. സദാശിവസമാരംഭഃ ശങ്കരാചാര്യമധ്യമം അസ്മദാചാര്യപര്യന്തം വന്ദേ ഗുരുപരമ്പരാം. The 3 days of Sanskrita Bharatam, Samartha Bharatam, a great title, a great thought with the team of Professor V.K. Amala, with the coordination of Dr. K. Unnikrishnan sir, my Unniyatan. Started with Balavananda Sagar, the great Sanskrit, from our childhood onwards every day on All India Radio. His sound was the morning wake-up call for most of us in the childhood. Professor Rajendran, who happens to be my colleague in Calicut University when I was Director for Academic Staff College, Rajendran sir was there in the university and we were part of lot of committees and he gave the keynote address. Above all, yesterday and day before yesterday, I was listening to Subbarayalu, Murali Madhavan sir, Nadeshan, and most prestigious probably a day in my life could be that I am talking on a same stage after a great poet Madhusudanan Nair is talking. He has given a beautiful introduction on the topic which I am supposed to speak, the scientific heritage. He has refined the thoughts on Sanskrit, the Sanskrita thought itself refined, and he connected to all languages of India: Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi, Rajasthani, Oriya, Bangla, Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam. And he said that, as Murali Madhavan sir explained yesterday, a Kavi is one who has got a Darshanam and Prakashanam, a higher than Rishi, equivalent to God. So pranams to all those Rishis and greater poets who made the knowledge, the Vedic knowledge, the Sanskrit knowledge. Veda, Sanskrit, knowledge. They are all synonyms. The perfectly purified knowledge. All the languages are connected. So I'm sure in any language you speak, if the number of words per minute, if you can process, is with full concentration, you are there. Any language is almost equal. I happens to live in different parts of South India, and I keep saying all the languages are same. Avade, ivide, evide, ange, inge, enge, alli, illi, elli, akkade, ikkade, ekkade, idhar, udhar, kidhar, here, there, were. You go to east and west of India, the happiness is same. Balu ache, maje meche. Gujarati it is maje meche. You go to Bangla, it is balu ache. You see the similarity. Every language has got a great resemblance. So Bharat, though we are into bits and pieces, as Kaudilya said, we are all part of one single human entity, with head could be the north, hands could be the east and west, the leg could be Kerala. Probably that is why we have Brahmanyam to Kshatriya. The Gujarat and Rajasthan where maximum war would have happened. The chest place is that. The thought process came from the north. And maybe south people are still, most of them, except a few people like Unnikrishnan sir and all that. No, the rest of them are not get into that Sanskrit, and we are still Shudras and Rakshasika people. Today morning was a blessed day to see the family of Unnikrishnan sir on Doordarshan. I have recorded and sent it to him, the clipping. It's so beautiful. I remember few months back, his son was playing on my lap, and then he was talking in Sanskrit, and I was ashamed that I don't have that ability to communicate to him in the same frequency as he can. Because once upon a time we start saying, the great Hindi, there is a great saying, Padhe pasi, beche tel. We learn something and do something else. Dekho re, niyati ka khel. This is the fate of people. So we start learning many things, thinking that that is what will give us some job. But I'm sure today the maximum opportunities are given to people who know the Paitrukam of India. Therefore, the Samskrita Bharatam, the Samartha Bharatam is a beautiful topic. Salutation to all of you under the umbrella of organizers here. There are two types of people who says the Indian contribution towards science, spirituality, no debates. Everybody says Adhyatmika field, India is the best. When it comes to scientific, many people say India's contribution is zero. But if you slightly change and speak the same thing, the zero is India's contribution. So both are debatable, because people say that instead of saying zero is India's contribution, they say India's contribution in mathematics and science is zero. It is 3 days back, great mathematical legend from Mysore, whose movie is released. Don't miss seeing that Shakuntala Devi movie. You know, where is it this knowledge came from? Was a great question somebody asked her in the interview. So she has only second alphabet in our mother tongue as the answer. Because the same thing happened to Srinivasa Ramanujan when somebody asked, where are you getting these theorems from? So he said, I don't know, where am I getting? Hardy, his professor, wanted Srinivasa Ramanujan to write the proof for all the theorems. Immediately after that, Hardy said, don't write theorem proof, because you will waste that much time. During the writing time of the theorem, you will produce another theorem. So why should you explain now? We will do it later. But years together, the most powerful computers in the world is not able to solve most of the problems. So this is what is given by Vidhada. We cannot say where is it knowledge coming from. Most of the proofs are not possible. So the modern science thinks that without the proof, nothing is acceptable. But the traditional knowledge believes in What is experiential knowledge? Sakshat anubhavair drushto na sruto na guru darshitaha lokanam upakaraya etat sarvam pradarshitam. If it is useful for human being, that is great. I am sure today's modern science also many people submit PhD thesis. We call it in science, even doctor of science. We don't know, after some time somebody writes something opposite to that, that is also given another PhD or DSc. So you can contradict what somebody has done, but the first PhD is not taken back. This is a world of lot of people who thinks themselves as wise people. They are all fools. But there are a lot of wise people who are ready to accept that they are fools. This is what William Shakespeare told once. I said, generally I keep saying you don't have to learn Indian scientific heritage from somewhere. We have a Maya Satsang group. Dr. Jayanti is from Delhi. She is also attending this live now. I am seeing her around. Yesterday we had a great talk about Indian mythology. And one of my students from MIT, America, presented a beautiful view on Indian mythology, saying that Indian mythology has got a lot of contribution in business science. Because the best investment in the world is gold. And all our mythological characters, great god and goddesses, had beautiful ornaments, lot of gold and granites and stones. Padmanabha Swami temple is a great heritage center with a lot of richness inside. So I'm sure you don't have to learn scientific heritage looking into different things. You can just look at god and goddesses. Look around this world, you will see plenty of them. We are all living in a world with the dignity of India. Himalayam samarabhya yavat Hindusarovaram tam devanirmidam desham Hindusthanam prajakshade. We are blessed to be in that part of that land where we have this pride, knowledge, Sanskrit. And the unity of India is within the diversity of India itself. We had a great civilized past. The literacy is not how to read and write. It is to read and write with the proper understanding. So I am a literate of some language or subject. That means I know the concept. I can eloquently express my thoughts with great courage, with great 100% of understanding inside that. I am sure today is the same day under Doordarshan when Kunjimangalam Narayanan Master, the lamp making technology, the Sri Rama story, the Rama family itself is the molds which he used for making the lamp. The metallurgy is shown with all this. The metallurgical science is seen in any of the lamp which we have, any of the burthen, any of the small vessels which we have in our houses. The mode in which it is created. I keep saying when you wash your legs in the morning, you use that specific kindi. That shows how the water preservation is done. Because it cannot just blow water, it comes through like a pipe. What a great mechanism. The controlled usage of water. The science is part of rituals. The science is part of health maintenance. The beginning, what the sloka which we chanted, Atnana Timirandasya, Nananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurunmilidam Yena, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. In that itself, there is a great science. Atnana Timirandasya. Atnanam is a Timiram. Timiram is cataract. So not having a clear vision is like a cataract disease where you are not able to see the 100% knowledge. You have a blurred vision. Knowledge is not full, but you have know something but not very clear. That is what is the education today. What is the job of a guru? Give a kajal, a kanmashi, a eye catch which gives you that a medicine which can be applied to your eyes. That makes your cataract away. What is the science behind it? The poets always take simile from what is in practice. So if this has become part of praising a guru, I am sure there was a time in India when there were medicines which can be applied in eyes to remove cataract. What a great mechanism. Who knew this? See, that sloka which we use for praising Guru itself is a great scientific knowledge. Only thing, you will have to go in between the lines and analyze it like this. I am sure every line which we hear, if we analyze inside, we will see all our poets, all our gurus, all our rishis were scientists with a lot of science background. They had a background, they understood the science, they understood geography. Without that, nothing can be written. Let us look at the next sloka. While taking bath, we take a poem which I keep saying, if you don't learn geography in the classroom, go and learn in the bathroom. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidim Guru. Is it not uniting India? Every state where the river runs. But today probably some of them have gone to some other state or country. That's it. Otherwise Bharat, all the river names are learned. Which science, which education system taught us like this, which every child can learn and just remember and have the geography of India in the mind? The river will tell you geography of India. Map is in front of us. Gange cha Yamune chaiva. So we went to Kailash. I remember when I went to Kailash, I was seeing Ganga, the frozen state. I wanted to touch Ganga there. Gange cha Yamune chaiva. Yamuna, when we come to UP. So from Kailash we reached to UP. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari. Immediately we came to Andhra Pradesh, east of India. Saraswati, we don't know where to go because Saraswati river doesn't exist. It is my department, Department of Space, did a beautiful study on Indian heritage sites. We have a National Natural Resource Management System division in Bangalore under the headquarters. Earlier, Radhakrishnan sir, who became the chairman, was the head of that. And that department produced a beautiful book, almost 300 pages, The Heritage Sites of India. That book itself is good enough, which has taken lot of satellite images from 800 kilometers above the earth and then seen different sites on India. The map is created to talk about Indian heritage. The modern science is used to prove Indian heritage, in which Saraswati river was plotted. And Saraswati river, which is not existing on the ground. What was given? When Gujarat and Rajasthan had a lot of water problem, where to dig to get water for getting from the borewell, there was a project given to Department of Space. What was done is we started taking satellite image to know where the borewells can be dug. We created all the points where the water is available, connected together. We got a river structure which was exactly matching with the Vedic river structure, which is explaining where Saraswati river is flowing. See what a marvelous knowledge which we got. That information was given to archaeology department. They do a carbon dating technology to understand how old is this river which disappeared from the earth and went down to the ground. We found it is 3200 BC. So we found out the river 5000 years back what is existing. Let's just think about the sloka which we are chanting in the bathroom. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidim Guru. This sloka 100% is not written during the time when Saraswati was not on the ground. So this small line exists in each one of our mind, which was written 5000 years back, 10,000 years back, or if somebody asks when is it written, we have to say So the geography of thought, Sanskrit slokas were made to chant every day morning by everyone. That is education. People keep saying Kerala become literate with the left or right. I keep saying it is not left or right. It is Saraswati who made the education system. We have got Navami, Dashami, in which writing was part of everyone. Whether you go to school or don't, doesn't matter. Everyone is supposed to practice writing. What a great system we have. Every ritual was making us to learn about Indian geography. And not only that, how much time you have to hold water. Every time proposal is given based on a time. And that time is one sloka completion. Before I take morning, putting my leg onto the ground is wrong. Therefore, what I am supposed to do is I am supposed to touch with my hand on the ground and then chant a small mantra. Every activity which I do, how much time you have to touch the ground so that your static electricity can be not hazardous for your body. Samudravasane Devi Parvadasthana Mandale or Mandide Vishnuvatni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Chavaswame. How much time you have to touch? Until you finish one sloka. So the time scale is given based on the chanting, the number of lines which you have to chant. What a basic science is this? The health science is inbuilt in our basic knowledge. If any one of you have got any explanation required on any of the sloka which I am chanting, these are all available in my blog, DrTPS Rare Slokas, Nitya Sloka. There is a book. Otherwise, my number is available on. You can just put a WhatsApp. I will send you the link in case if you are not able to find. And the explanations, scientific, philosophical explanation of most of the slokas are interpreted and written as articles and then put into my blog. You could refer that. My aim is not to describe only the rituals, but we have to go to higher mathematics, higher astronomy. I'm sure Madhusudanan Nair gave a beautiful introduction. So let me go and then go a little deeper. I thought I will do some introduction, but the introduction part is already taken by the previous speaker. I must do justice to my position as a scientist and a mathematician. Therefore, I may jump from one sloka to another sloka. Explanations will become brief because I like to cover not only mathematics and physics and chemistry and astrophysics. I'll keep jumping from different topics as the thoughts comes to me. The Vedic mathematics, decimal system, zero, numerical, infinity, binary number system, the hashing techniques, everything can be seen in our Indian science. The god pictures, beautiful geometry. Every structure which we have, every mother who puts the muggu in front of their houses with a small, little bit of rice, great science behind it. I am sure no children can draw a circle without a geometric box. But every mother in our house will make a beautiful circle and divide them into different pieces. What a great science, yeah? You don't have to go to school for getting this. It is there in every family. And that is beautiful. You see the temple architecture, the time machines which we have. There are constructions where when the sunlight has to come, when it should not come. The openings of the temples are given in such a fashion, it exactly comes. It is not the sun position, earth position. It is exactly given with the whole cosmology, understanding about the universe, the age of the universe, the division of the days, the division of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. What we have to learn from this? The 43,20,000 years, the Yuga divided into the one Kali Yuga, multiply by 2 it becomes Dwapara Yuga, multiply by 3 it becomes Treta Yuga, multiply by 4 it becomes Satya Yuga. Therefore, 4 plus 3, 7 plus 2, 9 plus 1, it becomes 10. So, 10 times of Kali Yuga becomes 1 Mahayuga. What a great computation, yeah? Which scientist in this modern world created like this? We are not able to explain how the calendar is created today because we have February 28 days. The other day 30, 31 days. So much of confusion. You know why? The Julius and August, the son-in-law and the father-in-law made a 10 months system into 12 month system. Otherwise, September is 7th month. November is 9th month. Sapta cannot be 7th month is 9th month here. October is 10th month. Octa is 8. That is because when they copied only 10 months, 2 months were lost. And the king Octo and Julius came and then added 2 months in between. Otherwise, originally the month is supposed to start only in March. That is why our financial year starts, Ugadi starts, Vishu starts. The computation is slightly different from one state to another state. Otherwise, generally it is March, April, there is where the starting is. So the March, if you start the year, ending of the month is February. Therefore, it is justified to have the balanced number of days to put in February, because we cannot have 30, 31. It is put as 28 days. But in English calendar, when they copied this, jumbled it together and start January as the, what a great foolish thing, yeah. See, beautiful, one of the Ugadi day, I was a guest in Oman, and this was my talk for 10 minutes because they forced me to talk. I didn't have time to go there, but the ambassador forced me to give a talk. Then this is what I said. The year starting, what a great knowledge we have. Starting from the brief history of the time, the Vedic generation, the Indus Saraswati civilization, the rise of Jainism and Buddhism, go to Maurya period and to the Islam invasion. Between Maurya and the Islam invasion is the golden time of Indian science and Indian art. So you can see most of the quotes which we give, most of the work which we can see documented and available subject wise are during that time. But those have got its root in the Veda. Therefore, these rewritten things is what most of the time we refer as Indian scientific heritage. Exactly after the next generation, when the golden period of Sanskrit is now 2020, and the vision and the action which is taken by the new rulers, probably after the Maurya, we have got a great period in the ruling system today. And that is what makes us to think. I'm sure those people who were youngsters during 1970 are the most unfortunate people like me. I'm sure those people who are in the 20th, 21st century, the third decade of 21st century, 3 to 1, third decade of 21st century, the 3 to 1 generation who are into AD, after digital, access all the informations available, where we people like BC, before computers taken birth, and lived in an era where nothing was available in our childhood, we were the most unfortunate. But this is for submitting to the younger generation to think in these lines of Indian science, understand everything. We had only two categories of people who understand science but don't understand Sanskrit. We have understand Sanskrit but don't understand science. Don't do that. Blend them together. Sit together. Get inside them. Don't think about politics and then colors and the feelings inside. Yukti yukta mubadeyam vachanam balakadabi anyatranamavatyajyam apyuktam brahmagadabi. Yukti yukta mubadeyam. Logically think and then decide. The Apple computer, the co-founder was a person who was brought up and then lived in Ramana Maharshi's ashram. Adam, observe. You must listen to him. He says, if Indian scientists learn Sanskrit or Sanskrit people learn Indian science, India will become Loga Guru much faster. I think this is the time when it has to happen. Let all our children learn both science and Sanskrit. The new education policy gives you such an option. What a wonderful time is this. I wish I would have taken birth during this time, not 50 years back. The great knowledge of physics, the time measurement, which has got lot of emphasis on understanding the time. From the smallest of the smallest time. Yojananam sahasre dveshade dveja yojane ekena nimisharthena kramamana namastude. This is what we do when doing Surya Namaskaram. Hey son, you came all the way, so much of distance, largest distance. How much? Yojananam sahasre dveshade. 2202 yojana you came. 2202 multiplied by 12.11 kilometers, because one yojana is 12.11 kilometer. Now as per me, as per National Science Academy, That much distance, oh sun, you are coming. How much time? Ekena nimisharthena. Nimisham is not 1 minute, 1 second. It is time taken for your eyelids to close and open. The Vedic Pandit says, you take a lotus flower, the one petal, and put a sharp needle. How much time it takes to penetrate to that? That time is called the 1 nimisha. Ekena nimisha ardhena. Half of that nimisha. Again, National Science Academy identified it is 0.14 second. So distance is given, time is given. Yojananam sahasre dveshade dveja yojane. Yojana is distance. Ekena nimisha ardhena. Nimisham is given, time is given. Distance and time is given. Immediately physics people will divide that and then get the velocity. This is the velocity of light. See, every person who takes baths with a ritualistic activity is defining velocity of light. Is it not a great land where we have got this sort of a tradition? Every Sanskrit sloka, the palindrome in which the slokas are written. My subject is not literature, so I am skipping that. If any one of you want to learn the palindrome, I think the best examples will be available in the language Sanskrit. Describing Rama on one side, the other side to the backward it becomes Krishna's sloka. What a great knowledge we have here. And though they are the scientists who has written all of them. So understand the Indian scientific knowledge, the scientific methods, the knowledge repositories, mechanical engineering, electrical, civil, aeronautics, marine, mathematics, astronomy, time scale, Ayurveda, everything. Everything is covered in bits and pieces here and there, but within some different slokas. If there is somebody who has got an eye to see this, I'm sure he can get into this. But there are a lot of people who misinterpreted. There are people who misused it. So we have to be very careful when we do this. Starting from the aeroplane to Nauka, the Navy name itself came from now. I'm not able to stop referring to the literature. Therefore, this is beautifully said. The Charaka, Susruta, everyone. That what we have, the geometry, the names which came, the geometry word Jamiti, Sanskrit word measuring on the earth, geo is earth. The word geo which came from Sanskrit. And we have trigonometry, trigonomiti, measuring of the triangle forms. The latest science, you can see the origin in our earlier science. The Madhavacharya, Bhaskara, these are all the people who interpreted this and then given to us. There was a great astronomical knowledge which is used terribly in every sense. Most of the astrologers don't understand this because they mix with what is the present planet name to the astronomical name which we give in the... That is a big mistake which we did. I keep seeing arguments in the TV when they don't even understand the basic, they come and then argue that Rahu Ketu is not there. But our traditional scientists said it is not planets, it is not Graha, it is not. If they are talking only about a planet which can be translated into Graha in astrology, how do you think that there is a position for sun and moon? There is a sun and moon in the astrology chart. Sun and moon are not planets. They are satellites and stars which we know. Therefore, the translation of Sanskrit to English creates a lot of confusion. Don't do that. The knowledge of mathematics, knowledge of science, knowledge of meditation, knowledge of sex and love, everything can be learned only when you understand that in 100% in its own sense. That is where we must understand there is a lot of things to learn. The normal rituals, I keep saying, the Rudram Chamagam when they chant, Ekachame, 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 Trishashame, Trishashame, Panchajame, Panchajame, Saptajame, 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 Navajame, Navajame, Ekachame, Trayojasame. What is this? You don't understand. The person who chanted doesn't understand, who is hearing not understand. It's arithmetic progression. 1, 3, 5, 7. Every child in 8th class will understand this is arithmetic progression. Some God doesn't understand arithmetic progression. They don't like that frequency in which it is chanted. Immediately the priest will change it into geometric progression. Ekam cha, dasham cha, shatam cha, sahasram cha, ayutam cha, prayutam cha, niyutam cha. It goes up to 10 power 57. What a great mathematics. Some students who don't get good marks in mathematics will go to temple and the priest will start teaching mathematics to the God and goddesses. This is what it says, that you go and learn this, you will get good marks in mathematics. I remember my guru, Brahmashri KPC Anijan Bhattadaripad, when we used to travel on road quite a long distance, he used to remember, I keep testing him or he keep telling me what he can do. And he says his brain is very sharp, he can remember all the vehicles which are crossed to him with the number he will tell me at the end of after 10 minutes. And I asked him, how are you able to do that? He converts every number into Kadapayadi number system and adds a adjective to that. My name Shashi, he says only 55. Because in Kadapayadi number system, Shai is 5. So Shashi becomes 55. That's how he says. He says the beautiful, he taught me Kadapayadi number system and then related to music. Dhira Shankarabaranam. Dhira, Dha stands 9, Ra stands 2. Therefore, Dhira becomes 29. The 29th Melakarta Ragam got its name Dhira Shankarabaranam because of the Kadapayadi number system. So the music textbook had mathematics inside. And it had how much is the size of the dance classes is starting with the telling how much could be the size of your stage. The architecture has to be understood. The hall construction has to be understood by the artist. The problem is most of the science were mixed together, so you cannot segregate them and then see them. Therefore, people started learning it into bits and pieces. I think the unification of these knowledge is essential. Not only Kadapayadi number system, we had Buddha Sankhya, we had Aryabhatiya number system, the trigonometry, the area of a square. The area of a square, Varga Sama Chaturasra Phalam. What a beautiful definition is this. A square is that. And you have got only a rectangle where it is not a square. You cannot divide that into 2. But a rectangle can be divided into 2. Half BH will become the area of a triangle. Tribhujasya, triangle. Phalam Shariram, the area. Sama, Dala, Kodi, Bhuja, Artha, Vargaha. What a great thing. Multiply base into height, take artham for that. The half of that, half BH is defined. The Pythagoras Theorem, late 1990s, Pythagoras Theorem in the textbook they wrote Baudhyayana Pythagoras Theorem. Because they found that Baudhyayana invented earlier, Pythagoras the oil merchant has stolen the theorem from India and then put his name. Dirgha, Sama, Dirgha, Chadurasrasya, Chanayaranju, Parshvanmani, Tiryanmani, Cha Yat, Pruthak, Bhudai Kuru. The A square, B square, you multiply, that will become the square root of the other tangent. That is what it says. So if you look at, and how did they do that? They put a stamp, put a light, the sunlight, seen the shadow. How much is the distance in the shadow? That is measured practically on the ground. The learning was with a lot of anubhavam. That is why Sakshat Anubhavair, na sruto, na guru darshidaha. It is not somebody said. Every student is supposed to do it on the ground and then understand. If you understand like that, I am sure the knowledge will become extraordinary knowledge for you. The Pythagoras Theorem, Surya Siddhantam is what we have seen, the Yojananam Sahasre, little bit of mathematics, little bit of physics. Now what do you want? You have to go from one subject to other subject because I am sure there are a lot of people who are there. When we talk about the science of light, I cannot stop mentioning about Amshubodhini, the spectrometer, Dantopramapakam Yantram. I keep saying Dantopramapakam Yantram is called a spectrometer. Somebody will say spectrometer is called Dantopramapakam Yantram. It's not so. The name Dantopramapakam Yantram came first, then spectrometer. So don't translate English into Sanskrit. Tell this mission, they called it as spectrometer. What is that? Dvatramsha Samyuktam, 32 spare parts are there. Navottara Shatatmakam, 109 equipment explained in Bharadwaja's Yandra Sarvaswam, Dvatramsha Samyuktam, Navottara Shatatmakam, Dandapramapakam Yandram. What do they do? Tamo Bheta Pradarshakam. The sunlight will be split into pieces. How many pieces? 9 pieces, not 7. Not sunlight is split into 7 colors. Ultraviolet and infrared is also seen. That is what Gomedam and this, you have got infrared, the Rahu and Ketu. When people wear, they put Navaratnam, 9 colors. So it is 7 colors which is practically seen. Unseen 2 colors is what is given by the Rahu and Ketu effect in the gemology. Diamonds, stones have the ability to filter the light. That is why the Kohinoor becomes so powerful, energetic. The gem science, that was one of the India's richest contribution probably in the light. That is where our only one Nobel Prize winner, C.V. Raman, got it through this Vedic knowledge which we had. The gravity was known, getting into physics. Akrishti shaktistu mahitaya yat gastam swabhimukam swashaktya swabhimukam swashaktya. Every planet attracts things to its own, swabhimukam. So many planets which attracts to itself, when they are put together, they attract each other. Therefore, padattvayam khe, where it can fall. That is why it is rolling around in the universe like this. It is not gravity of Earth, gravity of every other planets in the universe. And that is called universal gravity. That universal gravity was known to Bharatiyas. And we did not sell only the Earth is what is Earth. Earth is the blind plain Earth. But it has got different layers on the atmosphere. The atmosphere also rotates along with the Earth. Otherwise, the wind would have taken us back. The Earth is revolving around with the atmosphere around it. The environment and the knowledge of environment was pakka. There we can give beautiful lectures on the environment science which we have in every part of our ritual. Yesterday in our Maya Satsang, there was a question why people tree was adored. That was because the whole science of people tree talks about Mulado Brahma Rupaya, Madhyado Vishnu Rupane, Agrada Shiva Rupaya, Vrikshada Jete Nama. Great environment science. And what we have to do to protect our environment will get you into not Surga, Moksha. The Ishtapurta Karma. What a great environment science is part of that. We knew the environment, different layers were known to us. The earth was globe. We learned different names. Galileo and all such people are the people who taught us what is earth and the roundness. Aryabhadiyam exactly says Udayo yo Langayam so Astamaya Savidureva Siddhapuram. Romagadeshe. Romagadesham is Rom. So we knew there was a Rom. We knew Langa. Udayoyo Langayam. In Langa it becomes day. Romagadeshe Ardharatram Syat. In Rome it is night. That means we knew the earth was globe. What else is required to describe this? Not only that we know earth, we know we today learned the Greenwich Meridian. It is in UK, Europe, because they were ruling the world. But we had this Greenwich Meridian in India long back. Udayo, the Lenga was one of our base. So therefore here also again, Lenga, Vatsyapura, Vandi. Lenga and Vatsyapura. Which is Vatsyapura? The center of India, in the Madhya Pradesh. That is Khajuraho. The Khajuraho's traditional name was Vatsyapura. That is where Vatsyayana was there. That is why all the statues have got different postures. As in Vatsyayana's Kama Sutra, there are different postures. All of them you can see. If you have a picture, any dancer can go there and do any posture and then see whether the statue is available. You will see your statue there. That means you cannot have a body posture without that, which is not described there. Lenga, Vatsyapura, Vandi, Sthaneshwara Suralayan. You put 2 sticks, the stems there, and 1 Surya, 1 thread you put. That is called the Deshandara Vidayani, the prime meridian. So gravity was known, prime meridian was known, earth's shape was known, the speed was known. We knew that how to go from one place to another place. Nothing else is required. No Ramayana and all that. No. You have to see the beautiful movie. Our Prithviraj acted inside that. And where we had a beautiful concept of Vimana, which was not a concept. The Bapuji Dalapate, who invented Vimana, we keep saying right brothers invented Vimana. I keep saying wrong brothers invented Vimana. Because before that we had a Vimana, wrong brothers took that and then shown that they have built that Vimana. They have to refer to Bapuji Dalapate. The Bapuji Dalapate, not even, look at the definition of Vimana. Desha, Deshandaram, Yadbak, from one Desha to another Desha you want to go. There are three modes. Road, on the ground, in water, and on the sky. But you have to get away with this possibility of road. If that becomes island, you cannot use the ground. Therefore, only water and air. Yo ambare gandumarhasi, which goes in air. That means water is also discarded. Savimana iti prakta. Can anybody define like this? And it will be great privilege for us to say, even in the modern times, the first aircraft was flown by an Indian. The British Army, one of the person who flown was the Lakshman. 1883. What a great knowledge. Architecture, geometry, and the way the buildings are constructed without a cooling, without an AC, without a fan, people could live there. That's a great knowledge. Architecture was a great knowledge. Astronomy was a great knowledge. And what else? You want to talk about the health science. I'm sure every one of us knows the health science, but most interpreted sometime from the largest to the atom size, because health science cannot be described without chemistry, because medicines are created by chemistry. There is a question, do we know that chemistry? Jalandaragate bhanau yat sushmam drishyate rachaha. When the torchlight is passed through the water, you can see small particle moving. In a dark room, when the slit of light comes, you can see particle moving. That's called rachaha. Tasya trimshattamo bhagaha. Divide that into 300 pieces. What you will see is atom. Jalandaragade bhanau yat sushmam drishyate rachaha tasya trimshattamo bhagaha paramanuriti smradaha. And you have any doubt? You are not seeing? You are not able to imagine that? That rajaha you have seen, can you divide that mentally, intellectually, in your sankalpa? And if you are not able to, immediately the next line will come. Nani nam drishtigo jaraha. You should have little buddhi, then only you can imagine. Only Nani can see that. What a great knowledge, yeah. What else is required? Most of the, it is not with a microscope and telescope. It is with a normal mental scope. And if you don't have the mental scope, you cannot see that. Therefore, most of the things what is explained in our Puranas, I can take examples from different Upanishads, Mahabharata, Ramayana to tell that there are yet a lot of things to be described, which are not seen, which are not able to see because they don't have the eye to see. And I'm sure if somebody can do that, the word itself is good enough. Hridayam. Hridayam. Look at the word. What can receive, what can propel, what can circulate. Hridayam. That's what it is. Yam. Da. Ha. The hridayam, which can accept, which can pump, which can go. I'm sure if that is known, that is why we had a great Charaka, we had a great Susruta, we had a great knowledge of well-being. But unfortunately, the other day we had a webinar on yoga. I said most of the Shirshasana which we do are not part of any of our heritage. I have to tell this here because it is misinterpreted maximum. The yoga tradition which we are saying are all foolish and rubbish. It's all what is shown by gymnastics under the leadership of the Mysore Palace. It is only 100 years old, which was to entertain the Maharaja. I don't remember the yoga person who is, I think it is Thirumal Krishnamacharya, who was the guru for the Iyengar who actually tested yoga. His cousin brother was a gymnastist who had his place from the German and English tradition. They mixed together. I am sure I ask a question. Tell me, do you have a statue of Lord Krishna in Shirshasana? Do we have our great soldiers, great god and goddesses sitting in Shirshasana? Why we have not created such statues? Because Shirshasana is one of the rabbiest thing which you should not do. The asana is not yoga. I wrote a beautiful English poetry, the millipede yoga. Because on a yoga day, when I opened the paper, I have seen a lot of people doing this monkey's magic. I wrote very clearly, and I had got a talk on the UPSC portal which I have got when I train my civil service students. You go and look at DrTPS yoga. You will see my criticism on twisting Bharatiya Shastra and keeping it into plate and then selling across the world. I don't have to explain it here because yoga classes I explained it thoroughly. We have misused we have twisted our heritage. Don't allow it. That is why we are not in the well-being, in the happy state country. The people are not happy because we have twisted and then started using it for making money. Most of them came from West. Iyengar went and weared only a jetty and just started showing. Those people were very happy. I am sure if it was shown in India, people have just thrown him out. And he made a lot of money. He printed a book and then that circulated and that became Indian yoga. It is not Indian yoga. It is less than 100 years old. It is exactly 100 years in 2020. 1920 to 1950, there was a yoga school which was kept by Maharaja in Bangalore. After 1947 independence in 1950, it was closed. Seeing that it is not Indian tradition. It is so unfortunate people are not reading and understanding. The yoga is not the physical yoga. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. All that together, when you join to God, it becomes yoga. To understand that, you need lobha, shoga, bhaya, krodha. What is Sthita Prajnavastha? What is explained in Bhagavad Gita? Dukheshu anudiknamana, sukheshu vigata spruha, vida raga, bhaya, krodha, sthita dhirmuniruchyate. When you get to that, that becomes at least one level of yoga. If you don't do that, what is happening today? Mitahara hita, naro hitahara. When you read that naro hitahara, you know, what do you people say? Hitahara. What is that? I can eat. No, hidam is for the health. What is hidam? Naro hitahara vihara sevi savitchakari visheshwa sakta. If you have that quality, you have good arogyam. And don't do over exercise. Most of the people do over exercise. Adivyaya mamadakaso jwarasya dischajayade hridaya dyubarodascha. Heart attack is 100% sure. Most of the yoga practitioners, luckily they are not continuing. I don't know what a great guru. He called himself as Sri 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 Sri. He prefix himself. And then he says how to breathe. I don't know which Yogacharya in Indian tradition said breathe with only one nose. And he sell it 2000 rupees for one nose breathing. 2000 rupees. Another 2000 rupees. If you club it together, 4000 rupees. Rebate rate 3000 rupees. And for that 1500 will go to his trust. Marketing strategy. Everybody knows how to market it. Luckily nobody is using it. If they would have used, they would all become sick. God has given two noses to breathe. And my guru tells Tailadhara. Breathing has to be slowly like a flow of oil. Not like pouring water. No. It should be slowly. What a great knowledge we had. We have twisted them. Because what happened is somebody follows one tradition. You have to brand your brand. You have to change something. And somebody is sitting in Sukhasana, they said, no, this is not asana, you should do reverse. Then only it becomes asana. I said, I keep joking them saying that people started teaching how to take breath. Now I will have to take lectures for how to take bath and make money also. Systematic bath. This is how you should take bath. Everything can be marketed. That is why we have spoiled our tradition. I think it's the right time to think very carefully to understand Sakshat, Anubhavair, Drishto, Nasruto. These, the so-called, they themselves proclaim that they are gurus. That is to be stopped. We had a great knowledge about Ayurveda, health science. We knew how to plant and how to make the seeds to grow. Vavitam karagon tatchanam janmagam. You want something to be tatchanam, immediately to grow? Put in ice, make them to cool, and then expose them to heat. The shell will break. Hailstorming the plantation. Uttamam Vipshadam. What is that? We knew how much knowledge the trees has got on the disha, directions. Ajata Shakhan Shishire, Jada Shakhan Himagame, Varshagame Chasuskandan, Tata Diksthan Praropayat. When is grafting to be done? What a great knowledge about the Jatyanda Parinamam Prakrityat Purat. What a great knowledge of Patanjali. Patanjali did not only talk about this, he talked about the evolution process. How all the science which I am talking is approximately 1500 years after that, the modern system reinvented and took a patent on that. Luckily, India doesn't have patent because we don't know whose is this. If all of us can take a patent and say that it is my great grandfather's. If you feel that you belong to that nation, you belong to that tradition, I am sure we should have that courage to say this is written by my great grandfather. That is good enough. If you can do that, we are wonderful. Britishers came back, they identified many places. There are a lot of publications available under this. The Benjamin in 1795 had a lot of metals which are taken from here and then given to shipped, and the ship was by India. The metal was from India and the masons were from India to making the sharpest of the sharpest weapons. I don't know the textile. I am not able to stop without referring to textiles. Do you know that we have got a sari which can be put inside a small matchbox? That thin sari which we can have. Not only the textile, we have that iron pillar in Delhi which is very famous with all the pollutions of politics and the environment, that is not getting rusted. Why it is not getting rusted? Many people went and scratched and found that this is some coating there. What coating? Micro level, 10 power minus 6 level coating. No modern science is able to coat something like that. That is very famous, but that is not enough. 2 times or 3 times bigger than that, we had an iron pillar by Dhar, which is bigger than that. The metallurgy in Madhya Pradesh in the Dhar pillar was the biggest and the toughest, but the Muslim invaders made it into pieces. Therefore, still it is there in the horizontal position because they were not able to lift and keep it together. The horizontal position, it is lying for more than 300 years now. Nothing happened to that. Who invented this? That is our metallurgy. I am sure that knowledge, his beautiful books, it is not only that he has got made this beautiful book, Samarangana Sutradhara, which explains how these metals can be used for making beautiful weapons. So our people, our kings were not just rulers. They were great knowledgeable people. They can write beautiful knowledge which can be documented to give it to the next generations. What a great knowledge we have. Is it not our pride to say that we belong to that nation? We had Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, we had Nalanda and Takshashila, we had Kaudilya who had got a beautiful book of economics. You know what the German philosopher says? The Arthashastra cannot be understood by everybody because it starts from where the ore has to be taken, the mining department, to the metal department, how it is to be sold also. So you must know economics, you must know marketing, you must know textile, you must know how the construction architecture, you must know the metallurgy. So all in one. So the greatest philosophers from German says, learning Arthashastram is making rock out of sand. It is not that simple to understand because we have compartmentalized people. If you have not compartmentalized, I am sure we would have got this knowledge. That compartmentalization should go. Bharat has to become united, and I am sure only one language can do that, and that is Sanskrit. I started at 12:15. Unnikrishnan ji, you don't have to get worried. I am very strict disciplinarian in time. I have taken exactly 1 hour. I am seeing last time also you were looking at the clock and the time. There are different gadgets you wanted to make sure that the time is met. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity. It is not what I prepared for 1 week or after listening to you. It's 20 years of dedicated study. I am not saying that I have studied that for 24 hours, but I had the passion for looking at a professional going to the grandfather's house. I am sure during the holidays and vacation, you keep going back to your hometown to see your grandfather. With that attitude, I have just looked at a few of the knowledge which we have studied good enough, I think, for me to give a lecture. But my humble pranams and pleadings to the younger generation, for the last 20 years, what I have learned is what I have projected to you with 1 hour lecture. In my life, this is my first opportunity given to me by my great brother, Unnikrishnan ji. By looking at the Indian heritage, I got the feeling of going back to my grandfather to see some glittering light in his eyes which are still sparkling. So if this could make some spark in my younger generation or the elder generation who feels are young enough to learn little more science or little more Sanskrit together, I think I will be the most happiest person to share whatever I have. Great pranams to all the people who heard. Pranams to the great speakers who gave wonderful knowledge in this forum, and high good initiative by the department. And earlier also I was given chances to meet and then come to the department, enjoy the platform. But I think I did not get this much time. That's the first question asked, how much time I will get. If it is 10 or 15 minutes, I wanted to say bye-bye. You can look for somebody. 1 hour is good enough to make little bit of justice to what I am presenting. It's a beautifully organized program because it is not show. Many people do show by calling 10 people and giving 10 minutes to each. I'm sure this is a great platform of learning. All the pranams and then great initiative by Samskrita Bharatam, Samartha Bharatam, under the leadership of Professor V.K. Amala, under the coordination of Professor K. Unnikrishnan sir. Thank you, thanks a lot. God bless each one of you. Ishwaranugraham undavate.
धन्यवादः महोदय. अत्यन्तं प्रेरणादायकम् आसीत् भवतः भाषणम्. अत्यन्त ऊर्जस्वलम् आसीत्. मम इदानीं उत्साहः आगच्छन्ति. എനർജറ്റിക് പ്രസന്റേഷൻ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ട് ഒരുപാട് പേര് ഇപ്പോൾ തന്നെ എനിക്ക് മെസ്സേജ് വന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അഭിനന്ദനങ്ങളും ഒക്കെ ആയിട്ടുള്ള മെസ്സേജുകൾ ഇപ്പോൾ തന്നെ വന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. വളരെ വളരെ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. ഇനി ത്രിദിവസീയ രാഷ്ട്രീയ സംഗോഷ്ഠിയുടെ സമാപന വേളയില് നമ്മളോട് 2 വാക്ക് സംസാരിക്കുവാൻ അമല ടീച്ചറെ ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു. നമ്മുടെ അമ്മയ്ക്ക് സുഖമില്ലാതെ ആസ്പത്രിയിലായിരുന്നു ടീച്ചർ. 2 ദിവസമായിട്ട് ഇപ്പോഴും ആസ്പത്രിയിൽ തന്നെയാണ്. എന്നാലും നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ കൂടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അമല ടീച്ചർ 2 വാക്ക്.
Morning to all. Respected Shashuma sir, Madhusudanan sir, my dear colleagues and other participants. I am very happy to join all of you in this webinar. As Unnikrishnan sir said, I couldn't join yesterday and day before owing to the illness of my mother. I think all of you should have enlightened a lot with the presentations deliberations of these two personalities, especially Madhusudanan sir's speech. I think his speech is 1,000 times more beautiful than his poetry recital. This is an era where wrong interpretations or misinterpretations of Idihasas and Puranas are injected to the minds of youngsters. He has shown us a way to make the real interpretations, the right interpretations of Idihasas, Vedas and Puranas. Sir, thanks a lot for all the participants. Then Shashigumar sir, I have heard his speeches before also. All of them were enlightening, and as expected, this also showed sparks of light as expected by him. It's not mere some sparks. I think a lot of sparks are made into the minds of our students as well as elders like us. He has made it very clear that Sanskrit is not a language, mere language. It's a wealth, it's a treasure, it's a culture. A lot of things other than what is expected in a language is there in Sanskrit. How much it can contribute to the different fields of science like mathematics, geology, physics, biology, even aeronautical science are well explained by him. Sir, on behalf of the college and all others, I use this opportunity to thank you. Then I am to congratulate Dr. Unnikrishnan sir, who took initiative to arrange such a wonderful program. Then Team Sahitya is with him, who made this program a great success. Then participants, as pointed out by Unnikrishnan sir, a lot of comments are coming in the comment box. It showed the interest shown by participants in this program, especially the speech of Shashigumar sir, which can be learned by participants throughout India, throughout the world, and many persons from other states are also participating in this. I use this opportunity to thank all the participants. We are organizing a series of webinars, and I use this opportunity to take part, which will be arranged by other. No, I talk. Let me once again thank these two personalities as well as the persons who delivered their lectures in previous days also. My Guru, Rajendran sir, was there in the initial day. I couldn't attend his webinar. I feel so sorry for that. Let me conclude with these words. Once again, thanks to all who participated in this webinar.
धन्यवादः. तत्र भवतां सर्वेषामपि विभिन्नविषये अर्थात् सप्त प्रभाषणेषु भवतां ये सन्देहाः सन्ति तत्सर्वमपि कृपया अस्माकं वेबिनार ग्रुप मध्ये भवन्तः स्थापयन्तु. Please post your doubts that I will hand over to these personalities. निश्चयेन भवतां सन्देहस्य परिहारः भवति. कृपया वेबिनार साहित्य 2020 इति ग्रुप यत् अस्ति अस्माकं सर्वेषामपि सहभागिनां तत्र भवतां सर्वेषामपि सन्देहाः तत्रैव स्थाप्यन्ताम्. अहं तु तेषाम् उत्तरमपि तत्रैव स्थापयिष्यामि। इदानीं केवलम् औपचारिकरूपेण कृतज्ञता व्याहरणमेव अस्मच्छात्रा कुमारी श्रीलक्ष्मी इदानीं धन्यवादसमर्पणं करोति। तदनन्तरं शान्तिमन्त्रेण इयं विचारगोष्ठी समाप्ति उपगच्छति। श्रीलक्ष्मी।
नमस्ते। नमस्ते। अद्य संस्कृतभारतं समर्थभारतम् इति राष्ट्रीयसङ्गोष्ठ्याः तृतीयं दिनम्। अस्माकं सांस्कृतिकपरम्परायाः विषये, विशिष्य दाक्षिणात्य-द्राविडपरम्परायाः विषये, साहित्यपरम्परायाः विषये अत्यन्तं मनोरञ्जकं प्रभाषणं कृतवती कविवर्याः प्रोफेसर् वि मधुसूदनन् नायर् महाशयाय संस्कृतमहाविद्यालयस्य नाम्ना, साहित्यविभागस्य नाम्ना बहुधां सर्वेषाम् अपि परतया कृतज्ञतां व्याहरामि। डॉक्टर टी.पी. शशिकुमार महाशयः यः विस्तृतः शास्त्रज्ञः अस्ति, तथैव व्यक्तित्वविकास वर्गशिक्षकः अस्ति, आध्यात्मिक आचार्यः अस्ति। अस्माकं भारतस्य शास्त्रसाङ्केतिकविद्या पारम्पर्यविषये महत्वभूतं प्रबन्धम् अत्र उपस्थापितवान् शशिकुमार महाशयः। तस्मै महाभागाय सर्वेषां नाम्ना कृतज्ञतां समर्पयामि। अस्माकं प्राचार्य डॉक्टर वी.के. अमलमहाभागा अत्र उपस्थिता अस्ति। तस्य कृते अपि धन्यवादं व्याहरामि। एवमेव ये अत्र भागं स्वीकृतवन्तः, Zoom द्वारा वा YouTube लिंक द्वारा वा यत् सर्वं श्रुतवन्तः, प्रोत्साहनं दत्तवन्तः, तेभ्यः बान्धवेभ्यः, अन्यो अध्यापकाः एवं शोधछात्राः सर्वेभ्याम् अपि धन्यवादान् वितीर्य विरमामि। धन्यवादः।
संस्कृत वेबिनार अंतर्जालीय राष्ट्रीय संगोष्ठी ഇന്ന് ഈ ഒരു സംസ്കൃത ദിനത്തിൽ സമാപിക്കുന്നു.